Well, it's great to see everybody. This is my 31st coaching school. And when you're at coaching school, you know that football is right around the corner. It's like when Dave Campbell comes out, you know football's ready to start. It's whenever you go to Big 12 Media Day, you know football's ready to start. And then, man, you better tape your ankles when you're at coaching school and get ready for football. We're excited. We cannot wait for everybody to get in for our team meeting on the 29th, and we practice on the 30th. We've had a great spring. We had a great summer. We brought in 20 freshmen, high school freshmen, and brought in 21 transfer portal. So we've got a lot of new faces. When that happens, you know, the biggest thing for a head coach is to build a great culture. We're going on our third semester with a team GPA over a 3.0. And I think whenever I look at stuff like that, it shows that we're moving in the right direction, that we've got grown men in the building, that they're coming there for a lot of different reasons, but they're coming there at Texas Tech for the right reasons. So proud of what we're doing. I'm ready because we're still in talking season. Everybody's undefeated. Everybody still likes me. Everybody likes, I was just listening to somebody and they said, yeah, it's like right now we're all tied in the high school ranks for the state championship. We're all tied in the college ranks for the national championship. And talking season's almost over. I know my guys are ready to get started, and we're excited about the team that we have and cannot wait. So with that, open up with any questions.
Mike Craven, Dave Campbell's Texas Football. You know, a lot's been talked about and written about how much money y'all spent this offseason in the transfer portal classes. There's like anonymous quotes out there and all that kind of stuff. How do you kind of handle some of the outside noise from other teams within the conference, other teams within the country?
Honestly, I kind of laugh because I don't know any coach that wouldn't want the support that their university and their boosters put behind Texas Tech. And so some of it I kind of go like, man, that's kind of hypocritical. You know, I've been doing this a long time. I was a high school coach for 23 years. I coached 98 Division I football players. I've seen all the good, the bad, and the ugly in recruiting. And, I kind of like, so whenever other universities do it, I don't know what Texas's payroll was last year or Ohio State's payroll was last year, but nobody was surprised when they were doing it at that level. And then all of a sudden Texas Tech decides that we're going to be extremely aggressive in the two worlds, and do it the right way, that it shouldn't be done at Texas Tech. And so I kind of, I'm like, hey, I understand there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be excited to play us, to prove us wrong, to say, hey, look, you went out and spent all this money and this is what your team looks like. I know our guys are going to focus on us. We talk about it all the time. We got to control what we can control. I know there's a lot of expectations. I think expectations are great. I would rather be in that position than be in a position to where you're like, man, if everything goes right and the ball bounces our way, maybe we can become bowl eligible. I'd rather be on the other side of like, hey, we expect you guys to go out and play for the Big 12 championship. I know that's what our fan base expects. I know that's what our administration expects. I know everybody in that building expects that. And so, we've got to go out and really just focus on us. And we don't really talk about a lot of other people. We don't. We know that doesn't do us any good to get ready to play on Saturday. And so, I just do think, again, I know you guys, 2006, he covered me in the state championship, right? Like a lot of you guys, you got gray hair, but I knew you before you had gray hair. You're still pretty young. Roach is out there, and, man, I remember whenever he was brand new at this job. Like, we've known each other for a long time. We've seen all this, and I know y'all probably feel the same way. It's kind of comical because it's Tech doing it, and all of a sudden it's wrong. And so now we just got to go out and back everything up. And I will tell you, our locker room is in a really good place. We have a really good culture. We are a very close team, and they're excited to prove that we did the things the right way and that we've got a really good football team.
Mike Roach, 24/7 Sports. I think a lot that gets lost in the money talk and the rev share talk is you still got to do all the other things correctly, and you guys have always prioritized early evaluations, early relationships, and all those things. Is the revenue piece kind of the last piece, and we put all the other blocks in place? Now we have the money to come to the table to kind of finalize this. I mean, how important are those components still in recruitment?
Yeah, it's huge. We're still, if you track, since we've been at Texas Tech, we're usually the player's first offer or the player's first Power 4 offer. We want to get in early. We want to trust our process, and we want to develop those relationships. And as it goes, we're really fortunate. We do that. We get them on campus. We've been able to get kids on campus. They walk into a football resort. It's the best facility in the country. So now no one could say, well, we've got better facilities or Tech doesn't have good facilities. When you walk in there, and if you've been told that, the player's probably going to laugh at you from the standpoint. And whenever they see the upgrade there and then, the things that we're doing off the field, I think it's really healthy. Parents see that. They're excited about that. And then the revenue share is the last piece. Our university chose to share at the highest level. And I think, the one thing that's been really good for us is my AD that I work for, I think is the best in the country, Kirby Hocutt, and then our chairman of our board of regents, Cody Campbell. They both have challenged us 2 years ago, a year ago. Like, this is not like, hey, if this passes, hey, what's the plan? How are we going to handle this? And so we've been working on this model for a good while, and the revenue share model and how we're going to share and the salary cap and how that looks like and what percentage of that goes to your left tackle, what percentage of that goes to your quarterback and on down the line. And so we've been working on this for a good while now, and that piece is the last piece. It still comes down to relationships, and you want to be around kids that they love football. They want to be developed, and then there is real money, so that money piece is going to come into to play. But that's the last thing we talk about whenever the kid's on campus.
Hey, Joey, Travis Brown, KBTX. With the College Sports Commission and that enforcement arm, what amount of confidence do you have that when a school gets hit with some kind of penalty that they'll work in the best interest of college football and not just in their own best interest and just kind of take the punishment?
It's going to be interesting because I do think whenever you had the House settlement, you have a judge that's ruled on this, and so it's harder. It's hard for the NCAA because if you don't like what the NCAA does, you just get a good lawyer, you find an attorney general in your state, and you sue. And the next thing you know, a guy's got a 9th year of playing, or he's able to do whatever when it comes to that. I think this group, whenever you start talking about the judge ruling and then a separate entity, there's going to be consequences. And we're all kind of wondering how it is all going to work. But I think we're going to be in a different age of what we were before, to where there is going to be consequences, and you're going to have to suffer the consequences. It's going to cost you. That's the only way this can work. I know it's a whole different thing, but this last year we played with the coach to player communication. So we modeled the NFL. We should model the NFL whenever it comes to this. You should lose scholarships if you're not following the rules of the salary cap and somebody goes over it. And I think that's going to happen. I have faith in that. People are always going to try to look for loopholes and stuff like that. The more that we can close any kind of loophole there, and we all play on a level playing field whenever it comes to, if you choose to share at that level, I think it's going to make a difference in college football. I think college football, I think you saw it last year. You've seen it in the Big 12 for a long time. There's a lot of parity in the Big 12. You know, it's a phenomenal conference. Anybody can beat anybody. I think you saw that in the SEC last year, to where a team like Alabama had a couple of losses in that conference that they hadn't had to deal with before. And so I think that's happening. I think one reason it's happened is because of NIL and being able to get players to get on campus and be a part of your team, and it's going to happen with a revenue share. And it's going to be, you know, who can handle that the best.
Chris Hummer, 24/7 Sports.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, Joey. What role would you say player agents play in college football in this era? And then what varieties of player agents do you come across?
Yeah, they play a huge role. We had a discussion yesterday. Craig Bowl, I know he is working on that. Again, I want to go back to the NFL model. We need to have a certification for agents. I think that there should be, like the NFL, there should be a cap on the percentage that agent can make off of that player whenever it comes to NIL and revenue sharing. And at some point, hopefully we get to there. But we deal with a lot of different people. You deal with guys that are representing NFL players at the highest level, that they have an agency that now they have another department that handles college NIL. You deal with some guys that are just getting in the business, but they're really good at what they do, and they have a good background at understanding contracts. And then you still deal with an uncle or a ex-coach or you deal with all kinds of levels. And the one things that I would say about that, I think it's good to deal. I don't deal with them very much. James Blanchard does, but I think it's good to have a representative because you can take out a lot of emotion. That's whenever the negotiations get really bad, when they get emotional. And so whenever you have a guy that knows exactly what he's doing, and you have our GM and they're negotiating and talking through everything, it's really business. It's more black and white, everything like that. Whenever you get it in where you do have guys that parents or anything like that get emotional, like any other, they love their kids and they think this is what they should be doing, that's whenever it's really tough. But there's a lot of guys that are getting represented. They've never seen a contract in their life. They don't know what anything looks like or anything like that. And so just like anything else in this world, this is real money. And you've got some people that are taking advantage of players. We've dealt with some great individuals, and we appreciate them. And then we've dealt with some individuals that on our side, we were like, I don't really know if this guy knows what he's talking about whenever he's talking about a contract. And then the percentage of the contract that he wants to take is kind of out. Nobody would sign that contract. And there's some kids that do with some different agents.
Sam Conn from The Athletic. Joey, in this 26 class, I noticed the Big 12 has had a lot of success in landing top flight players. Not only you guys, but BYU, Baylor have landed some high top flight recruits. What do you attribute that to? Because it seems like it's on the uptick as far as Big 12 programs being able to land elite recruits in this class. Is that NIL or rev share playing a role in that, or what other things do you think could be playing a role in that?
I think it's a great conference. And I think it's a really strong conference, but there is no doubt that revenue sharing is playing a part of that, to where you're going head to head with somebody recruiting, and the last piece to where they're, man, I was in on a young man. I'm not going to talk about him because he doesn't play for me. But I was in on a young man at the beginning. We had a phenomenal relationship. And at the end of the day, if we were in rev share, in the world of rev share, we would have got the kid. Instead, he went to somewhere else. He's not there anymore, but he went to somewhere else because of that final piece. What I think you're seeing now is you're recruiting. We're doing Baylor's doing a phenomenal job. BYU's doing a phenomenal job. Sonny at TCU's doing a phenomenal job. And then you get right there and maybe a bigger school, whenever you're talking about football tradition, comes in and says, hey, we want to offer you a scholarship, and you lose that kid. Well, now with Rev Share, I think you're able to close that gap and get those kids committed to you and try to hold on to them like crazy in December. And I think you're seeing that in the Big 12. But I thought you look back at Baylor's class last year, they did a great job in their 2025 class. I thought, Sonny did a great job in his 2025 class, and so I think the uptake's coming, but I do see this year the Big 12 has done that because of that you've been able to hold those guys because we're sharing at the same level as everybody else.
Shahan Gerald, CBS Sports.
Phenomenal article, by the way. You had a good one the other day, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys should check it out. Anyway, I was going to ask, you hear coaches be like, well, we feel like, we're seeing there are guys going around the cap already, cheating the cap, and, obviously there have been some numbers reported from your program that would seem to be outside of that. So I'm curious, first of all, are you guys planning to stay under the cap? And two, how do you as a coach kind of address and involve yourself when there's so much, I guess, stuff out there?
It's noise. It's kind of like I really, you don't ever hear that from us because we're going to focus on us, right? And it is. I laugh again. It's kind of like what Sark said whenever somebody said that his payroll was this earlier, another university in the Big Ten. And I'm like, you don't know what, like, you've become almost, it's almost like AI. We all see the talking whatever, or the cat's doing a backflip off of like that AI. And you're like, man, that looks real. Is that real? Well, it's like that. Like you're just, throwing stuff out that you have no idea what you're talking about. Number one, no matter what the number is when you're talking about what a player's getting paid, the whole deal is the salary cap. What have you allotted to that room? So just like the NFL, quarterbacks are going to get paid more. Guys that can hit the quarterback are going to get paid more. Guys that protect the quarterback are going to get paid more. If I've allotted ever how many millions of dollars to that room, how I use that money to one player or 10 players, that's on me. That has nothing to do. We're still in the number of what our salary cap is. And so it's funny, I guess they don't understand how that works. It's just simple addition and subtraction of this is what we have chosen to do. You don't have to do it that way, but we're still operating under the same number. So if that number is 15 million and you're taking $1 million out of it, now we got 14 million, but we're not going over the salary cap. And they're like, well, how do you do that? Well, it's simple addition and subtraction. It's not like this magical, I'm not very good at algebra, so I don't need to use that formula. I just know that if I have $15 million and I'm going to give somebody $1 million, now I have $14 million. We're not going over the salary cap. And the way we were challenged to do this is not only are we not going over the salary cap, but come December or January or later, we're going to be in a really good position to retain our players because the way we used the NIL before revenue share started and revenue share. So we feel like we're in a really healthy position of what we're paying our kids now and what we are going to be able to make sure that Ben Roberts is a Red Raider his senior year, make sure that John Curry is a Red Raider, make sure that Will Hammond is a Red Raider. So we feel like we're in a good spot. So all this stuff like, man, I don't know, how are they going over the salary cap? I mean, dude, you're not in my building. You don't know what's going on, but guess what? Here's the number. Subtract that number from this. Guess what? This is what we have to operate with. And you don't have to like the way we do it, and you can do it a total different way. We'll find out who's right at the end of this. And hopefully we are.